And joining us right now, former Speaker of the House and former 2012 presidential candidate Newt Gingrich. Mr. Gingrich, you're going to be giving a speech today at the Defeat Jihad Summit here in the nation's capital. And I understand your speech is going to echo a lot of the things you said in Iowa recently. Your speech about radical Islam. Hold on, radical Islam. That's a phrase that we can't even get our commander-in-chief to utter, let alone address in a serious way. What will we hear from you today, and how is the president falling down on the job, sir?
Well, I think the last 2 weeks have been sort of embarrassing. I was very fortunate. I gave a speech in Iowa a couple weeks ago that has now had over 60,000 people go to C-SPAN to watch it. And
wow.
That was built on a Wall Street Journal op-ed I did calling for Congress to do in-depth hearings on the global war with radical Islamists. And really goes all the way back to 2010 when Calista and I did a movie called America at Risk. And sadly, everything we did in that movie 4.5 years ago is still true. You have a president who can't even admit that an attack on a Jewish grocery store in which the attacker says his goal was to kill Jews was anything other than, as the president put it, a random attack. I mean, this is a level of willful denial of reality that is frightening and makes you wonder what kind of deal he's going to cut with Iran, makes you wonder what he's going to do in other ways. And it puts in context something I think Congress is going to go through a dance with that's really unfortunate, which is the president is sending up a war powers resolution to make it look like he's doing something, when in fact that misses the whole underlying point. This is a worldwide campaign. There are at least 150 Americans, according to a report this morning, who are trying to get to side with ISIS. There are over 600 Britons, over 1,000 French. It is a worldwide campaign, and I'm calling on Congress to hold a series of hearings to get at the baseline of this, to understand how big and how hard and how dangerous this is going to be. And my speech today at the Defeat Jihad Summit is going to be focused on the idea that until we have the courage to tell the truth about who our enemies are, and we have the courage to look at what it's going to take to defeat them, we're just going to be trapped in this war for another 20 or 30 or 40 years.
You mentioned this War Powers Act debate that's going to take place up on Capitol. The president may send up his measure maybe as early as today. They're said to be tweaking it. But here's what a senior Republican aide was quoted as saying. The president is actually going to have to deliver Democratic votes and show that he has a commitment to this. If he doesn't, there may be some Republicans who walk away. It's interesting that on this, it appears that it's the Republicans that are more supportive of the president than many of the Democrats are likely to be.
Well, I think on national security, the Republican Party has for a very long time been a more realistic party, and the Democratic Party has been more seeking to avoid engagement. But the underlying reality is that neither party has come to grips with how really profound and hard this fight is going to be. When the FBI director a week ago said in a speech in Mississippi that there are investigations underway in 49 states in the United States. 49 of the 50. He said Alaska is the only one they don't currently have an active investigation. Now, the only thing which connects those investigations is radical Islamist ideology. And yet, of course, the FBI director couldn't say that because it would be so politically incorrect. You are faced with a worldwide movement. In Nigeria, Boko Haram, which is a branch of the movement, has killed more people in 2014 than Ebola killed.
Yeah.
And yet you don't get any serious focus on any of these things.
Speaker Gingrich, the fact is, I don't think over the course of the next 2 years, Brian, we're not going to change the way this president addresses radical Islam and the terrorist threat that we have. That's the bottom. I mean, he is who he is, and he's going to do what he's going to do. But people are already looking at 2016 right now. You've been through a presidential campaign. At this point, the Democrats who are thinking of throwing their hats in the ring, is it time for a Hillary Clinton, a Joe Biden, to start separating themselves from these policies if they're going to be taken seriously as the next commander-in-chief?
Well, remember, in their party, they can't separate themselves because that would mean they wouldn't be the nominee. I mean, President Obama may not be very popular with moderates and with conservatives, but the liberal base is to the left of Obama. They're not to the right of Obama. So if they want the nomination and they want to appeal to the base, they've got to say, yep, we're in 4 more years of Obama's non-war. Well, plus he's the incumbent president inside his own party. he has an enormous ability to stop any one person. Even Clinton would have a hard time getting a nomination if she was seen as anti-Obama.
So a lot of Democrats are going to skip out on this speech that Benjamin Netanyahu is going to give up on Capitol Hill. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, first of all, maybe they're afraid to hear what he's going to say. I mean, there are a number of Democrats who are hiding from reality, and Netanyahu will certainly give them a taste of reality as seen by the Israeli Prime Minister. I mean, to watch American national security, the danger of an Iranian nuclear weapon, the problems in North Korea, the challenges of ISIS, to watch this degenerate into trivial politics is really sad, because this is about the security of the United States and the safety of the American people.
Given the empty seats that are going to be there,
Speaker, I predict there will be no empty seats.
Who do you think will fill those seats?
It will be the youngest senatorial representation in history.
that will be a good thing, actually. I'd like to see Tom Cotton sitting there.
You'll see an amazing number of
the
staff
staffers,
assistants, interns.
Well, I had
won't be empty.
I had an idea. I mean, Joe Biden is supposed to be the president of the Senate. He gets that honored seat right next to the Speaker, as you well know. Wouldn't it be interesting for John Boehner to extend an invitation to former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who will be in town, receiving an award from Emily's List? Why not say, hey, why don't you just fill the seat for Joe Biden and put her on the spot? What do you think she'd do?
Well, first of all, it's not Boehner's seat; it's the Senate seat, and I suspect McConnell will find some. I think the president pro tem. I'm not sure who it is right now, but the president pro tem fills it. Maybe Chuck Grassley. But I think your idea is pretty cool, and what Boehner ought to do is invite Hillary to be his guest in the chamber, and to be there also to receive Netanyahu. She, of course, will turn him down.
Up in the Speaker's gallery there.
Right,
you think she will turn him down? Really?
Oh, she can't separate herself from the president.
Wow. So
Hillary Clinton is Barack Obama's third term.
Wow. You may be right, but I think that is would be devastating in a general election for her to make that.
Well, it'll be true. Again, you don't know what the world will be like in 2 years, but at the rate at which this president's denying reality, it strikes me that it'll be pretty dangerous to be seen as his successor.
All right.
Unbelievable. All right. Where is the speech today, and can anybody come to this?
I think it's open to the public. It's at the Reserve Officers Association. It's all day long. I'm speaking around, I think, 11 or 11:30.
All right.
And it's the Defeat Jihad Summit.
Excellent. Thank you. Always good to have you, and give our best to Callista, please.
We'll do it. Thanks.
Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich.